Thanks. As Hillary Clinton declares herself the winner in Iowa, Bernie Sanders, as you heard, told CNN's Jeff Zeleny he is, quote, he's talking about his campaign. He says, we're going to have to look a little bit more thoroughly at the election results in Iowa. For its part, the Iowa Democratic Party calls the race historically close and says it's awaiting results in one county. So let's talk about this and more. Lisa Caputo is a former press secretary to Hillary Clinton. Ron Brownstein is the editorial director for the National Journal, and Hadley Heath Manning is a senior policy analyst for the Independent Women's Forum. Welcome to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Ron, I'll start with you. The Des Moines Register reports that coin tosses were held in 6 precincts to award delegates. The paper says Clinton won each toss. Any chance that what, Bernie Sanders' camp had to say, any chance that this could develop into something bigger?
I have a feeling they're not going to push it too far. But look, last time the Republicans couldn't count the votes. This time the Democrats couldn't count the votes. Iowa gets this enormous attention, a year of candidates folding their laundry. You would think at the least they could do is count the votes. And I think it's really disappointing. Can I just say, Carol, real quick, that Iowa did answer 2 big questions in this Democratic race, but at least 2 more still to be determined. I mean, it did show that Bernie Sanders' dominance among young voters is very real. And it also showed that he's not just a wine track candidate, meaning he's not just dependent on white upper-middle-class liberals. He won non-college white men, stayed close among non-college white women. That's very positive signs for him. On the other hand, even while doing so well, he lost self-identified Democrats by double digits, and he did not do particularly well among the small minority population in Iowa. He'll have to improve on both of those fronts to truly make this a competitive race going forward.
Yeah, I was going to pose this question to Lisa, knowing that you're a Clinton supporter. Let's talk a little bit about Bernie Sanders. He actually should have won Iowa big, right? He had momentum going in, big, huge campaign rallies filled with hundreds and hundreds of people. But Clinton, she did just fine. So why didn't Sanders just skewer Clinton in Iowa?
Well, I think a couple of things are at play. First, Hillary Clinton took some lessons away from 2008 and had an incredibly strong field organization out in Iowa. I talked to a lot of friends of mine in the media who are out in Iowa who said the organization across Iowa is just awesome. Second, I think that Hillary Clinton did extraordinarily well with older voters and female voters, right? So really relying particularly on those female voters, first female president. They came out, and they came out in spades for Hillary Clinton. So she did better than she may have expected to do when she said, I'm breathing a sigh of relief, because there was clear momentum in the closing weeks that it started to feel like it was tipping toward Bernie, and she managed to thwart it, I think, really with her field organization. Robbie Mook, the campaign manager, and a lot of her senior folks, friends of hers, former staff, everybody was out in Iowa actually going door to door. So retail politicking seemed to rule the day for her in Iowa.
Okay, let's look more closely at the entrance polls. And Hadley, I'm going to pose this question to you. So Sanders did well among those under 40. You heard Ron say that. Not so great with older Democrats. Hadley, I know you're a Republican, but what should we take away from this?
Well, on both sides of the aisle, this is a big election year, big turnout on both sides. Every voter should feel as if his or her vote will matter in this election, especially in those early states. So I think what we see is enthusiasm on the side of Senator Sanders because, of course, what's important in every election is the expectations game. And Senator Sanders recently has been exceeding expectations. For months, commentators said this nomination was essentially former Secretary Clinton's to lose. And now it seems that in a tight race, she's underperforming expectations. He's overperforming, and that puts momentum on his side.
Interesting. Okay, so Ron, Bernie Sanders is expected to do well in New Hampshire. Of course, it's a state in his own backyard, right? But he's not showing great in South Carolina or in Nevada. So does Iowa or New Hampshire really tell us anything about the strength of a Sanders candidacy?
It tells us to a point, and New Hampshire probably isn't going to add much new information, because what we know is that Bernie Sanders does very well with independent voters, who are a big part of the puzzle in New Hampshire, and he's also very competitive among white voters, and that New Hampshire, like Iowa, will be over 90% white. I think Nevada and South Carolina are going to fill in a lot more information about how this is going to look down the road, because that's when the diversity of the Democratic Party comes into play, with Hispanic voters in Nevada, African-American voters in South Carolina. The Sanders campaigns thinks they are making inroads with Hispanics. They they are more guarded in what they expect among African Americans. But Carol, that's what he's going to have to do to make this a race. If white voters divide the same way they did in Iowa, and Bernie Sanders doesn't improve among minorities, he simply won't win any of the big diverse states. So they know that's what they have to do. New Hampshire won't tell us much more, but Nevada and South Carolina will tell us a lot.
All right, I have to leave it there. Ron Brownstein, Lisa Caputo, and Hadley Heath Manning. Of course, you're all going to stick around for our next conversation, and I appreciate that. So